Okay, so my first session is looking at the SaaS application management space. That's looking at tool vendors, what you need to do to manage SaaS applications, how you can optimize them, and how you can really find some very big savings for your organization. I think the main issue for SaaS management is tool set and actually just visibility of spend in this space. Typically, it doesn't come through normal IT procurement channels. So a lot of it's brought out in the business in sort of shadow IT, and therefore you need to find a way to find that spend. And there's lots of innovation, which I'll talk about in the session about how people are addressing that. That the traditional way of doing it with an agent doesn't work quite often. So once you have visibility, then you can start managing it. You can't manage what you don't know about. In terms of predictions, there's already been 2 acquisitions this year of SaaS tool providers by larger companies. I think that will continue. The traditional establishment SAM tool vendors, I think, are a little bit behind the curve on SaaS management, so you may see some more around there. A lot of the real innovators in this market are literally 10 people in a room somewhere, so there's great scope for that to happen, and also real innovation as well. Different approaches to the problem, how they're discovering the spend, how they're optimizing it, doing some really good stuff around judging your users' sentiment about a tool, saying how do you use this? Do you think it's a good tool? What about this as an alternative? Things like that. So it's much less technical than traditional ITAM, which is I think it's an interesting time. I think it's likely to end up being quite big, and probably in a different department. If you currently sit in an IT department, I don't think that's where you will be in 5 years' time. I can see that there's going to be convergence in the industry and convergence in compliance and security and maybe audit as well. So I think you'll end up with a different set of colleagues, and also you're going to need a different set of skills. A lot more around stakeholder management, a lot more about relationships with people around the business. You're going to have a much wider set of people to engage with. And maybe it's going to be a little less technical. It's going to be more about vendor management and contract management.
AJ will be speaking at both the Australia and US conference. To find out more about his session, head to itassetmanagement.net/events.